All right, today we're diving into a philosophy of education that is so different, it basically flips everything we think we know about teaching on its head. It comes from the philosopher Sri Aurobindo, and it all kicks off with one simple but seriously powerful idea.
Here it is. This is the core of it all. Nothing can be taught. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds wrong, right? How can you have education if nothing can be taught? It seems like it completely cancels out the whole idea of school.
And yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? If nothing can be taught, what's a teacher even for? Are we just supposed to wander around and figure everything out by ourselves? Well, not quite. See, this isn't an argument against education. It's an argument for a totally different kind of education.
To really get this, we have to break down this paradox. Aurobindo isn't saying that learning is impossible, not at all. He's saying that the way we normally think teaching works, like a teacher just pours knowledge into a student's head, is just fundamentally flawed. So, get this. This isn't the end of teaching. He calls it the first principle of true teaching. It's the starting point. It forces us to ask a better question. If a teacher isn't just implanting information, what on earth are they actually supposed to be doing? And that question leads us to a completely new job description for the teacher. It's a massive shift away from being this all-knowing authority figure to being something much more profound, and honestly, much more helpful. And you can really see the difference here. On one side, you've got the old model, the taskmaster. They impose, they command, they hammer things in. But in this new vision, the teacher is a helper and a guide. Their job is to suggest, to nurture, to guide the student on their own journey of discovery. This quote really hits home, doesn't it? Hammered into a desired shape. It's such a violent image. It treats a child like a piece of metal, a passive object to be forced into a mold that someone else has decided on, completely ignoring who they actually are. In fact, Aurobindo had a name for this old way of thinking. He called it an ignorant superstition. It's this backward idea that you can just force a person to be something they're not, instead of helping them become the best version of who they already are. The teacher's real job isn't to build the student, but to give them the right environment so they can build themselves.
Okay, so if the teacher is a guide, then how do we actually learn? Well, Aurobindo didn't just leave us hanging. He laid out 3 simple but powerful principles that explain how real learning happens.
These are the 3 pillars. We've talked a lot about the first one. The second one, the mind must be consulted in its own growth, is huge. It means we have to respect that every single person learns differently, at their own pace. And the third, work from the near to the far, gives us the actual game plan for how to do this.
This third principle is all about building a bridge. You don't just throw a student into the deep end. You start with what's near, what they already know, their own experiences, their environment. Then, by respecting their natural way of learning, you can help them build a bridge to what's far, to new ideas and future goals. So, that brings us to the big question. Why? Why go through all this trouble to change education? What's the end game here? It's not about getting good grades or passing tests. The goal is something way bigger. It's about integral growth. The whole point is to evoke the real man within. Now, don't get hung up on the old-fashioned language there. He's talking about our full, authentic self. The idea is to help a person grow in every single part of their being, not just the part that takes tests. And according to Aurobindo, that complete, authentic self is made up of 5 distinct but totally interconnected parts. So here they are: the physical, our body; the mental, our mind, we get those, but it goes deeper. The vital is our life energy, our emotions, our passions. Then there's the psychic, which is like our deep inner self, our soul. And finally, the spiritual, our connection to the bigger picture. A true education has to nurture all 5 of these, together. All right, let's pull all these threads together now. We've got this radical idea, a new role for the teacher, and this really holistic goal for the student. So how does it all fit together into one cohesive vision? This chart really lays it out perfectly, because nothing can be taught. The teacher has to be a guide, and the goal is integral growth. Because you have to consult the mind, the teacher becomes a nurturer, helping with self-discovery. And because you work from near to far, the teacher is a suggester, helping to evoke that true, authentic self. You see? Each principle changes the whole dynamic. So in the end, it's not about shaping someone from the outside. It's about creating the right conditions, a free and noble environment where a soul can grow from the inside out, following its own path. The teacher is a gardener, not a sculptor.
And that's what I want to leave you with. Let's take this idea seriously for a second. If you accepted that nothing could really be taught to you, that it couldn't be hammered in from the outside, what do you think you could learn? What's already inside you, just waiting for the right conditions to grow?